What's going on, YouTube? JT Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're going to talk about Nightwing issue number 121. This one is written by Dan Watters with art by Dexter Soy, and it is part 2 or 3 of this ongoing storyline where Dick Grayson, new creative team, definitely has a little bit more of that angst back. Like, this is a pissed off Dick Grayson, and it honestly feels pretty refreshing after what we had under the Tom Taylor direction, which was lighthearted, which was, again, at first it felt refreshing after the whole Rick Grayson stuff, but now I kind of want to see Dick Grayson a little bit angrier, like that, a kid got killed and he's on a path of vengeance, and it is, pretty fun to read, and there's actually some interesting stuff going on in here. But basically, like I said, it's Dick Grayson. He actually has to go undercover as Dick Grayson to the corrupt CEO, Miss Pierce, and he uses this time frame to basically kind of he kind of gets close to her and uses that time to kind of plan a device to hack into her files, which, Oracle will have to do because Oracle is a genius, and he goes back to her and just like, okay, I need you to hack this thing. She's like, oh, I might have Pentagon grade encryption. And he's like, well, you're somebody who did it as a dare when we were kids, just to show how easy it was. She's like, yeah, I did. So I like the little bits between Dick and Babs here. And then he kind of goes out at night, finds the Teddy gang where the kid was a part of, and he is angry. He is beating people up, and he's like, I'm ashamed of you. There was a kid, he should have been in school, and instead you had him running stuff for your little gang. But then one of the kids kind of comes in and is like, they didn't recruit us. We joined because it was our only means of protection in this Blüdhaven-like city. So there's that stuff going on there. Also, in terms of Pierce, she also did briefly mention the Titans basically not really being around as much. So it seems the Titans are going to be leaving out of Blüdhaven and into another city. And so there's that. Dick Grayson also sees that there's also people in danger. He's like, oh, what I got to do? So he decides to take them to a safe house. Meanwhile, the flying jetpack police officers that we've seen throughout this run kind of come in and try to go after them. So Dick Grayson is clearly aiding some fugitives, but again, they're going to be murdered by corrupt police officers. So I guess that would make him a felon on TV. But then again, maybe they're just trying to cover up the fact with Pierce and all that too. So there is some good action here because, like I said, Dexter Soy is a very talented artist. I really like his style. So he gets the kids to a safe house. Then the issue basically ends with him conversing with Barbara, who basically tells him, okay, I finally was able to break through some of these encrypted files. Looks like he dealt with this lady when you were a boy wonder. So we're probably going to go a little bit more into his past, but so far, so good with this current Dan Watters run. This feels very different from a lot of the stuff I've read with Dan Watters. A lot of his stuff is just kind of out there general. Read Arkham City Order of the World. Half the time I'm just confused what the hell Ten-Eyed Man is saying. It's just a bunch of philosophical gibberish, whereas here it feels a lot more straightforward, and that was one of my nervous things about some of the stuff I've read with Dan Watters, because so much of it feels almost like dialogue that's I guess poetic, philosophical, whatever term you want to come to it, just the way the story is kind of told. This one is so much more straightforward, and it's so much better, I think, as a result of it too. Like I say, you don't have some of the character like Ten-Eyed Man rambling on incoherently. Here, like I said, you have Dick Grayson. He's a little bit angry after the death of that kid. It's kind of interesting that him and Damian are kind of in an interesting place in these most recent arcs in their respective books that they're in. In Batman and Robin, Damian feels the guilt and the injury of that little girl has just been plaguing him, and now we have Dick Grayson, and the death of this kid has just really been kind of plaguing his conscience as a result of being unable to kind of protect them in the moment and some bad things happening. So, but it's affecting him differently than it is Damian. Damian's a little bit more kind of disconnected, not sure what he needs to do, whereas Dick is kind of turning to a little bit more of a ragefulness as a result of this kid getting killed. So even though there's a kid doing some not so great things under the criminal guidance ship, but as we kind of find out, a lot of these kids, they have no other place to turn to, so they turn to the crime because it's their only means to supposedly protect themselves. But it ultimately just did not work out for him because of the corruption with the Pierce and her company giving all these weapons to these police officers. And so Dick is there to kind of protect them from the corrupt cops and all that too. So yeah, a lot of different moving pieces in here. It's not just an easy situation for Dick. He has to kind of basically navigate through it all again with somebody who's just not an easy situation. It's not like the kids are doing things and they're still doing crimes, so that's not necessarily good, but he kind of has a little bit more of an understandable reason why they would turn to this stuff, because in their eyes, they basically had no other option. It was like for protection to try and kind of keep on living to survive, because it's not exactly like a black and white world half the time when it comes to Gotham. Still doing like not so great things, but they're doing it basically to survive because that's just the environment they grew up in. They didn't have the warm, loving compassion of the Flying Graysons or the guardianship of Batman. So Dick has to kind of navigate his way through this stuff. I know he did a lot of stuff in the Tom Taylor run where it seemed like he kind of like wiped out all corruption in the city because he just threw all his money, all of its stuff. But, you know, these problems just continue to happen in a city like this. And it's just going to happen forever because, well, if they just cleaned up everything entirely, then there wouldn't be any books. So that's just the way there is. So there's always going to be something, too. So I do like how this book does deal with the fallout of that. Like with Blockbuster and that dead and Heartless and all that gone, now we have like this power grab for Blüdhaven, and like there may be a moment of peace, but the job just starts up again the next day. So I'm liking this thing so far. I like what Dick's doing with it, and we get to see Dick Grayson get some information as opposed to just him breaking in his Nightwing. So I thought that was pretty good too. The little banters between him and Babs was nice. So, and it's not like the slice of life stuff. They're basically like mission focused, and you don't have like 100 other characters in there. Like Babs is just Oracle. She's there to kind of get his tech stuff. And it's, like I said, it works really well because it's just really Dick Grayson more so on his own, with, of course, Barbara there being like the one in the chair kind of guiding him. And that's the stuff I like to see with him and Babs. Because I mean, at this point, you know, I'd like to see Cass and stuff basically do the Batgirl stuff and let Babs continue on as Oracle. Maybe they can start a family at some point. I think that would be kind of nice to see her as a mom and, you know, Dick as a parent as well. But I don't know if DC will actually go through with it, but it would be something I'd actually kind of like to see with the two characters at this point. But like I said, I like seeing him just kind of more so do Nightwing stuff and not have everyone else there to kind of bail him out, and not everyone's there to just be like, wow, you're so amazing, Dick Grayson. Wow, Nightwing, you're such a great guy. We know he is at this point. Like, just let's show, don't tell with him. Like, we don't need characters to constantly say how great he is. We can just kind of see by his actions. So, and I like this one. It's a little bit more edgy. It doesn't feel like as wacky with the Heartless stuff. It just feels a little bit more grounded and kind of street level, and I like that aspect to it. And, you know, Dick's in a bit of an interesting situation, and we get to see him not this happy-go-lucky guy all the time. He's, like I said, it's nice to see him a little pissed off in this run. So, a couple issues in, I'm enjoying it so far. More straightforward than a lot of the other Dan Water stuff I've read, and I really like the Dexter Soy artwork, but I've always been a fan of Dexter Soy's artwork whenever I've read it. So, yep, those are my thoughts on the issue. What did you think of it? Post your comments down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, hit the bell for notifications, all that fun stuff, and I will see you all in the next video, whatever that may be. Probably just these two issues today, maybe one or two tomorrow. We'll be pretty much done hopefully by like Friday or something, because I do want to like get my video out on Sonic the Hedgehog 3 tomorrow, so look forward to all that stuff. But anyways, that's all I have to say. As always, take care now, bye bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.